Well, Governor, it looks like we have a full house. And I was telling the governor how nice our media was. I seriously did say that. I want to welcome the governor. First of all, I want to pass on our condolences for the tragedy and the shooting that happened in Michigan. Our prayers and thoughts are with everyone, and along with their families. We had an opportunity to have a great conversation. Both Governor Whitmer and myself had a great relationship for close to 7 years now. And I reminded the governor the first time we met at the auto show in Detroit, we talked about the wolves, that we sent 5 wolves down to Michigan. But there's a tremendous amount of opportunity in economic development, creating the environment for both Michigan and Ontario to thrive and grow and prosper. And that's what we talk about. We're each other's largest trading partner. We do approximately $61 billion of two-way trade between Michigan and Ontario. And as we all know, and we've mentioned it 100 times, that parts in the auto sector can go back and forth across the border up to 5, 6, 7 times before it gets assembled in Michigan or it gets assembled in Ontario. But we're going to continue growing that relationship and making sure that we create that AmCan fortress that I've been talking about. Making sure that when it comes to the auto sector, I've always said you can't unscramble the egg, you have to make the omelet a lot larger. And both Michigan and Ontario will thrive, and that's exactly what we're going to do. I've invited the governor and her Department of Energy up to look at our SMRs like the rest of our great allies and friends. And I always say, and I've said it no matter what newscast, if I'm down in the U.S. or here, I personally love Americans. I love the U.S. and I know Canadians love Americans in the U.S. There's one person causing a problem, and I've said it over and over again. But again, moving forward, let's not worry about that one person. Let's focus on what we can do together, how we can grow the economies on both sides of the border. So again, I just want to thank you, Governor. Always a pleasure to see you, and you're welcome here anytime. And I do have to get down to one of those Michigan games, or the Lions games, or the Red Wings, even though I'm a loyal Leaf fan. But I'll pass it over to you, Governor.
Well, thank you, Premier Ford. It is an honor to be here with you. We appreciate the invitation, the longtime friendship, and the partnership. Our economic lives are intertwined. We are virtually cousins. Michiganders love Canadians, Americans do as well, and that's why I wanted to make sure to come to talk about how do we strengthen this relationship, how do we ensure that both of our economies continue to grow and produce good paying jobs for Ontarians, yes, and Michiganders alike. And I think that our economic fates are intertwined, and that's why we take seriously the growth of this relationship and bringing to bear common sense strategies at the national level. And I'm going to continue to work at that because it's important for all of us as we think about all the global challenges that we are confronting. Strengthening this relationship, not undermining it, is one of my top priorities. And so I'm awfully glad to be here. Look forward to, we've got a big opening of the Gordie Howe Bridge coming up in the next coming months, and it is a testament to what we can do together. We can build our commerce together. We can solve problems together. We can literally connect our people when we work together. And so thank you for the chance to meet with you this morning and all the work that our teams will continue to do together. And I very much appreciate this relationship.
Thank you, Governor.
Yeah, thank you.
Governor, on the economic shutdown in the U.S., is this the time for Democrats to stand up to President Trump?
Well, you know what, I will tell you that right now there are a lot of tough conversations happening in the United States, including at my own state level. We completed a continuation budget at $350 this morning in hopes of not emulating the shutdown in Washington, D.C. So I'm proud of what we've been able to do. I never look to Washington, D.C. for solving my problems at the state level, but I hope that they can resolve it quickly and in a way that it benefits the American people. And beyond that, I don't know that I've got a lot more insight on DC.
Governor, what are Trump's tariffs doing? What are Trump's
on the healthcare piece in the U.S. Medicaid cuts and Obamacare, how important that is to Democrats?
It's been huge, not just in Democrats, it's important to Americans. When I was in the Michigan legislature, I worked with a governor, Republican governor, to expand Medicaid. Almost 1 million people got health care coverage, many of whom I've met with, I've talked to, I know have gotten health care for the first time in their lives. It has been incredibly helpful to so many. It's a backbone of our economy. It is good paying jobs. It is all of the above, and that's why I fought against the cuts that happened in their big bill, and that's why I continue to be hopeful that common sense prevails and they don't devastate the American healthcare system, because it's people who will lose out.
Governor, what are the Trump tariffs doing? What are the Trump tariffs doing to your state? Governor,
Tariffs have been incredibly challenging for Michigan. Michigan we grow things and we make things. It is agriculture that is hit so hard, and it is manufacturing, and that's who we are. That's what we do. There's a saying in the United States: if we catch a cold, Michigan gets the flu. We feel the pain of tariffs harder and faster than almost any other state, and that's why I'm trying to make sure that we can get back to a USMCA, back to strengthening this relationship and recognizing the importance of Canada, Mexico, and the United States having a good relationship, not adversarial.
was there a conversation about the electricity? Premier, on the tariff situation, it sounds to me like, or it sounds to all of us, I guess, that Governor Whitmer and you are on the same page in terms of your concern about what's happening. Was there any what can you guys as subnational leaders do?
Well, continue growing the trade and increase that $61 billion US that we trade back and forth, and we export about 38 billion, and they ship a little less, about I think it's 20 some odd billion. But anyways, we want to grow that trade, and President Trump's back at it again. This guy's too much. He's out there back on his 51st state. Again, I'm going to ignore him. I'm going to start focusing with our federal government what we can do to be more competitive, to lower taxes, create the environment and conditions for companies to come here and invest in Ontario. That's what we need to do.
Premier, you mentioned, you mentioned, I'm just going to ignore President Trump now.
Yeah.
Is that the new strategy? You just not even talk about him by name? Or are you just going to just jump?
He drives me crazy, and I'll talk about him, but stop worrying about this guy. Let's start focusing on what we can do as a country, as a province, to attract more companies. We have Vic Fideli, and I always give the guy a shout out because I don't know how the guy does it. One day he's in Germany getting new business. Now he's over in Asia. He's taking a tour all around there, attracting more businesses. But what he did say, on a positive note, he said, Premier, the pipeline is full of billion-dollar investments. And I said, well, bring them back. Let's start announcing them. And people still around the world, with all the turmoil, uncertainty, and wars happening, they look at Ontario as a safe haven, a pro-business government, and making sure that we cut the red tape and regulations, which we have, to a tune of $1.2 billion. And that's the last number they gave me. It's 1,800,000 person hours that you can reallocate somewhere else. So we got to focus on what we can do and stop worrying about that guy south of the border. And we have great friends and great allies. I can tell you over and over again, when I speak to Republican governors, they do not agree with them. They're too scared to go out there and say anything. Isn't that a shame? But Governor Whitmer, she's a fabulous partner, and it's all about building relationships. And I can tell you, the governor is not shy to make sure that she holds President Trump's feet to the fire. But thanks, everyone.